welcome back. This is the South African Morning. Now, U.S. Republicans are calling on President Joe Biden to review its relationship with South Africa. Congressman John James has tabled a resolution to that effect, but it's not clear when the issue will be debated or even voted on. Now, it follows joint military exercises with China and Russia in northern KwaZulu-Natal just last week, and the resolution urges South Africa to cancel all future military exercises with the two countries. But it also wants it to publicly oppose Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And there are some fears that this resolution, if adopted, could damage important trade relations with the U.S. So to discuss this even further, we're now joined by international relations expert, that's Dr. David Monyae, this morning. And Doc, thank you so much for your time. Good morning to you. I mean, when I suppose Congressman and Representative John James of Michigan submitted to the House Foreign Affairs Committee this resolution, what came to mind? Does he have a case to state here and to argue for?
I think what we are seeing is a growing concerning issue within the U.S. In which the United States is increasingly having these tensions with the two countries, China and Russia, and therefore using its hegemony, the power in the world to really push smaller countries, whether in Europe, Asia, Latin America, and Africa, to follow its agenda as a way of putting much more pressure on those two countries. The demand is unreasonable. It goes against international relation, international law. The United States of sovereign power, so is South Africa. And there is no way that in a normal international order, one country orders another to do and pursue its own wishes. Those days are gone. A certain assumption that is made is that South Africa is a U.S. colony. If you are a colony, you follow suit what your master country says. And therefore, I think it's quite disturbing. However, one doubts very much if this bill will go through. It might pass, but given the division of power within the United States, as well as the fact that they are moving towards elections, international relations is increasingly become one item on the elections.
Right. So at this stage, I mean, we're not even sure. It's not clear yet whether it'll either be adopted or debated. But should it be taken? Should this consideration be taken by the White House? I mean, what measures are likely to be taken here against South Africa?
The trend of U.S., I mean, putting this kind of bills and acting on them, I think we have seen them, whether on Russia or China itself. Eventually, I think it will be followed with sanctions, item by item. A number of things that could happen. The United States has enormous power. It controls IMF, World Bank, the whole issue of the previous interview you had, grey listing, and a number of other issues. The United States has power to influence the direction of these important multilateral institutions, including the more than 600 companies that are in South Africa. The relation between South Africa and the United States is very good, and we have seen with the endless visitation by powerful U.S. politicians. That means this country is important to the United States, and so is the United States. It's very important to South Africa. Unfortunately, the domestic politics appear to be really disturbing this relationship, and quite disturbing for South Africa to be told by another country what to do.
Yeah, it's almost as if South Africa is caught in the middle between a rock and a hard place. How do you think South Africa will react? I mean, the call is clear from the United States, at least from the Republican congressman, saying they're calling for an urgent end for these joint military exercises with Russia and China in KwaZulu-Natal. How do you think the country, South Africa that is, will react to this?
I think we have been expecting the president or foreign affairs minister to have said something already. Up to now, we haven't had any strong views coming from government. But this is an unacceptable move, and it should be condemned in the strongest terms and draw the line in the sand that we might be a small country, but we should not be pushed around in terms of choosing who should be our friends and who should be our enemies. The entire independence, freedom, the constitution of this country centers on the ability of the president and the government ministers to act what is in the best interest of citizens of this country, not the citizens of the United States.
We'll leave it there. I appreciate you speaking to me. Dr. David Monyae, thank you so much for your time in joining us. International relations expert weighing in on that call by Republican Congressman John James, calling for the urgent end of the joint military exercises between Russia and China in South Africa. Also saying that the President of the United States, Joe Biden, needs to review the U.S. relationship with South Africa. I suppose we have to wait and see if South Africa will give out an official statement, either through the DIRCO Minister Naledi Pandor or through the President, that is Cyril Ramaphosa. But